Hello, welcome to Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Howard. Thank you for joining me today. If yes, stay tuned. Well, but it's been a while. I know I haven't been consistent as I want to be. Just my scheduling has been crazy. I don't get too much, not like my last company where I had a day off all the time. Now, I did have a day off here. I'm going to talk about this truck stop. But I had to bring my truck in the shop. My computer broke down and whatnot. Well, actually, I lost my adapter. So, without further blabbing, I'll leave everything else to the end of the podcast, all social medias and all that stuff. So, where does the road take me today? Well, Saturday, I was at the Love's Travel Stop 561, and I hope I say this name right, Defunic Springs, Florida. The actual address is 17750 Florida, 285 Drive, South Defunic Springs, Florida. I know I'm probably saying that name wrong. I-10 exit 70, where it's at. It's right east of Pensacola, where our case brings us today is in Pensacola. So I'm a little bit for over 50 miles I like to stay at, but it was an interesting case that I wanted to cover. Now, it's multiple cases, but it's pretty much around the same thing. Besides, a couple things might be different. But yes, it's I-10 exit 70. Right now, I'm 327. I'm up in Georgia right now. And as of 1:22 Eastern Standard Time, there is plenty of spots. This is 1 hour, plenty of spots. And this did say until about for Florida, which has surprised me. For Florida, it stayed open. Pretty much a lot of good truck. What am I saying? It did not fill up. Most places that I go to, Florida fills up super quick. But this place didn't start filling up until around, I want to say about 7 or 8. Right now, fuel is at 376. Now, to eat there, if you're traveling through there and you're in your car, there's a hotel right next door, which I saw the prices was about $90 to $100. I forgot the name of it. But if you want to travel, oh, by the way, truck drivers, there's 82 free spots there and everything else. If you're a truck driver, you already know what Love's offers. There's showers, overnight parking, Wi-Fi, and all of that good stuff. But no Chester chickens, which when we get to reviews, you hear some drivers complain about that. No Chesters. All there is there's a McDonald's and a Subway, which it seems like every Love's has one of them. Either one McDonald's and Chester chicken and a Subway, but it seems like that's what they have. But if you do not want Subway or McDonald's, or say you are staying at the hotel or you don't mind walking across the street, there is a Waffle House right across the street. So you can check that out if you want. But this is where I was stuck at Saturday, waiting for a load. I did get a load, but it was picking up in Georgia. But we're no longer there, we're here. So let's see what drivers think about this place. Like I said, a lot of the drivers complain. First thing they say, there's no Chester chicken. Okay. So let's see the first review. And I'm at the wrong truck stop. I do apologize. I guess I was at the right truck stop. I was going to do the truck stop that was near the location, but I wasn't there. So I went and do the one where I was at. And I thought the first review was from that place, that location, but it's not. So I'll quit babbling Desra and get back to the reviews. The first review is from Trey Miller. It was 20 minutes ago, actually. He said, me and Ken Della Wengenberger are giving back rubs. Well, if I wouldn't know that when I was there, I could give back rub. I'm fine. You see this bearded guy. So that's a 5-star review 20 minutes ago. So at least it's a 5-star review. Here's the last view I left when I was trying to record this. Truck diesel, it was a 1-star review 1 month ago. Truck diesel pumps currently down. Now when I got there, the truck pumps were up, but all the cars had tape wrapped around, so there was not a single vehicle, car, gasoline pump available. All were down. Okay, another 1-star review. Sethridge. 4 a.m. and they're lined up 3 deep at the fuel islands. I can't even begin to imagine how much of a waste of time this place is during the daylight hours. Well, for which, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I mean, it did clog up a little bit from time to time, but like in the morning time, it wasn't that bad. I mean, there was a few trucks there, but you could easily there's a lot of open pumps. So, for anonymous user, 1 month ago, typical Lowe's has McDonald's and Subway. Here you go. No Chester chicken. Nope. Yeah, I guess you're getting McNuggets, buddy. Okay, 4-star review. Midnight, no parking. It's full. Yep. I mean, it's not only full. This is where I swapped out my load. I had to get repowered because I couldn't make it to Orlando one time. And that place was overflowing with trucks. It was hard to maneuver around. Here's the next review. 2-star review, and I like this one. Whoever idea was to make a personal message telling truck drivers they need to get out of the fuel island. It's not for parking to go to the bathroom, McDonald's, Subway, or wander around the store, because trucks are backed up to the road. You need to park in a spot. Now, when I say you, he just put the letter U, and when I say R, he just put R, the letter R. Then 3 dots. It's 10 p.m. There are no spots. We still have to take a 30s. 4 now, this is letter 4 now, number 4 now, and that requires a bathroom and food usually. I agree, some just sit in the fuel island. You can be polite about it, park behind fueling someone fueling, pee, get food, come back and move up and eat while keeping a close eye on the mirrors and moving up when somebody gets behind you. Don't be the reason this ... took it upon himself to make us feel bad about spending money in place that absolutely everything is overpriced. So apparently this dude was just parked at the fuel aisle and somebody called him out on. This is his way of justifying that he should be able to stay there because there's nowhere else for him to go. Well, bud, there's on and off ramps. Fuel, pull up, go get your shit and leave. Don't sit there and eat. And so here you go. Another anonymous user. By the way, he's GT Gene. I wonder if we could look up these people. I'm not going to do it now. I'll do it later on. I'll figure out a way to do it. Not $18 shower if you don't have a bunch of rewards. 125 gallons of diesel same day, and I didn't have enough rewards. Do better for the drivers. Actually, I thought that once you get 60 gallons, if for every 60 gallons you get a free, so he would have 2 free showers if he did 2 purchases. If he got 1 purchase, there should be 1 shower. Or what I like about the company I work for, Prime, we have a contract with Love's, so we're Diamond, so we have unlimited showers, which I think is cool, and 1 free cup of refill coffee a day. So 3-star review. They have this. I thought was 2 bean to ratio to coffee, but he just puts a 3-star review, which I don't understand. They have 2 bean to coffee machines. That's the machines where they grind the beans. But he's just telling you they have 2 of the machines with a 3-star review. Seems like he should at least give them 5. Go 3 stars. 3-star for parking. There's no there you go. No Chesters or Godfathers. Why the fuck would you want Godfather? That shit is nasty. Just Subway and McDonald's. The McDonald's is absolutely disgusting. They neglect it. It's dirty. It smells, and there's flies everywhere. Like when I say dirty, I mean it's uppercase dirty. Floors are nasty and sticky, and don't even get me started about the fountain machine. They all need to be fired, and place needs to be deep cleaned. Eat at your own risk. That was 8 months ago. Now I'm going to tell you my experience with McDonald's there, because I ate there twice, and you know what? I got the chicken nuggets. So if you're going there, get the chicken nuggets. They were the best chicken nuggets I've ever had in my life. They were hot, crispy, and everything was wonderful about the floor. Wasn't for McDonald's. I mean, the floor was clean, the people were friendly. Everything what this guy said is wrong. And their chicken nuggets are amazing. This guy here, now I did get my truck work done, and it didn't take me too long to get it done. I only had an air filter. Mike the mechanic is very professional and goes above and beyond. We bought our truck in with engine light on, and he went right to work even at 107-degree temperature outside. Well, we'll be calling corporate this week to give him a good review. I wish I would have found appreciate him. I wish I would ask. I was going to ask about it, but I decided not to, because I did get my truck work done, and they had a good staff there. Anonymous user. I'm not going to read too many. I'm working my way to this one. Here you go. Young lady Staff cashier, red-haired and glasses, very nasty. She looks depressed. Well, maybe you should give her a hug. Here you go, $400 for someone spending 2 hours under my truck trying to find one-star review. Trying to find something wrong. At the end, recommended I take it somewhere else for $400. Ridiculous. Never again. Loves and I was told, and let me start speaking. Never again. Loves and I was told I am getting a discount. Laughable. Here, I'm 2 more reviews. 4-star review. If you don't know how many spots, then don't post some when there are plenty. On this day, it was 3:56. I think it's 3:56 p.m. at the 24th. These pictures are the back row alone. There's more than other aisles. So, a lot of truck drivers do that for some reason. I don't know why. What they'll do is they'll just park a place full, in which there'll be plenty of parking spots. I've read where I'm parked at truck stops, and there'll be plenty of parking spots, and I'll look at the reviews to see what people thought about it, and I saw it's full. But I corrected it. Here you go. My last review is a 3-star review. My truck got hot by a hot shot driver. Whether they hit on each other? No. I know what he meant. He meant hit, but he put hot. Watch out for them. He didn't stop, so it hit and ran. By the way, there's no laundry there. By the way, the next review was 1-star, no laundry. Now, I can't verify that or not because I didn't really look see if there's a laundry room there or not. But most loves do, so maybe they do have a laundry, but it wasn't working at the time. I don't know, or maybe someone else was washing clothes. All right, well, there is Love's Truck Stop in what I'm probably going to mispronounce it, Defunic Springs, Florida, where I was stuck all day. But overall, I would say it's not that bad. There's parking during the day, where most places in Florida, good luck. Usually I'll have to pay for parking. But with enough said, let's talk. And by the way, there's no Chester chicken there. I'm joking. Let's talk about our case. Now, we're going to talk about 2 cases. Now, we're going to overview some other cases as well. But back in the 90s, there was a big thing about abortion clinics, and I'm going to screw up some of these words, so be prepared. This is one that I just started. Like I said, I had a case that I wanted to do, but my computer adapter cord's missing, so I'm going to do this one. I mean, I since then bought another adapter for but since I was already got all these pages up and looked at it right, I'm going to continue doing this. My next one will be out of Texas, where I've been planning on doing as a cowgirl. So I'm excited about doing that since my wife Desiree was a cowgirl. So let's talk about the murder of David Gunn. Now, a lot of stuff I got from is Wikipedia, Murderpedia, and newspaper.com. This is where I'm getting a Google search on one. Which on the Google search is going to be a quick names where the man's in prison. But yeah, on March 10th, 1993, David Gunn was fatally shot by anti-abortion extremist Michael Frederick Griffin in Pensacola, Florida. It was the first documented killing of an obstetric and this is where I'm talking about. Obstetric and gynecology, gynecologY. I'm sorry. Doctor, where the stated intention of the perpetrator was to prevent a doctor from preventing abortion care in an act of anti-abortion violence in the United States was really big. A lot of places getting blown up. And a jury deliberated. I'm just reading through Wikipedia. You check it out. A jury deliberated 3 hours before finding Griffith guilty. March 4th, 1994. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, which he served in Blackwater River Correctional Facility in Milton, Florida. In November 2017, Florida Commission of Offenders Review set Griffith's tentative release date for March 4th, 1923. So let's see how this all came about. David Gunn, he was born November 16, 1945, was murdered March 10, 1993, was an American physician. He received his bachelor's degree from Vanderbilt University and earned his MD at the University of Kentucky. Gunn moved to Britain, Alabama after his residency, chose to provide OB/GYN and abortion services in the rural United States. Now, the perpetrator, like I said, Michael Frederick Griffin, was 31 years old at the time of the shooting. Described Griffith as a fundamentalist Christian, and a loner with a bad temper. Yeah, a lot of the churchgoers. I remember that time. A lot of churchgoers and everything was very anti-abortion, pro-life, and they were blown up. They were using violence to try to figure out the way to violence, and I could never figure it out. But yeah, the shooting was on March 10th, 1993. Anti-abortion protests had been demonstrated in front of Guns Pensacola Women's Medical Service Clinic. Griffin waited outside, then ambushed Gunn by shooting him 3 times in the back with a .38 pistol, shouting, "Don't kill any more babies," before opening fire. Griffin did not deny his action after the shooting, and shooting Gunn told the police, "We need an ambulance." But aftermath, let's see why. This is one of the reasons why he did this. This is a story he said on Murderpedia. He said Mike Griffin frequently believed that an accident. I guess I better slow down. Michael Griffin frequently believed that the accidental encounter he had with abortion doctor David Gunn was a sign from God. On the morning of March 5th, 1993, Griffin, a 31-year-old factory worker in Pensacola and a zealous follower of a local anti-abortion reader, John Burt, pulled into a Pensacola Exxon station, and there was Gunn, a doctor well known to be an abortion advocate in the area, was sitting in his car drinking coffee and reading newspaper before heading into work at the Lady Center, the local clinic that had so often served as ground zero for the anti-abortion movement in the South. He said, "I thought it was Providence," Griffiths now says, revealing his meeting with Gunn for the first time in an exclusive prison interview. "I knew he was getting ready to kill children the day I asked the Lord what he wanted me to do, and he told me to tell him that he had one more chance. So here we are with Moses, let my people go." No. Griffin walked over to Gunn's car and tapped on the window. He said, "I looked right in the face and said, 'David Gunn, the Lord told me to tell you you have one more chance.' He just looked at me." For 5 hours afternoon, Griffin stood outside the Lady Center waiting for Gunn to leave. Griffin recalls, "I felt like I had another word from the Lord for him, that he was accused of and convicted of murder, and his sentence was Genesis 9:6, 'Whoever shall shed men's blood, by his blood shall be shed.'" And so, then right before he got in his car, I said, "David Gunn, are you going to kill I don't know if this went down this way. He said, "David Gunn, are you going to kill children next week?" Griffin claims that Gunn replied by saying, "Yeah, probably." So, yeah, 5 days, this is when we come up to the shooting where he met him after, and shot him a few times. Griffin claimed to be acting on behalf of God. During his trial, Griffin led defense attorney Robert Kerrigan argued that anti-abortion activist John Burt had brainwashed Griffin and drove him to murder. At the time, Burt was the Northwest Florida regional director of the national anti-abortion group Rescue America. Burt was also a former member of the Ku Klux Klan and a self-professed spiritual advisor to a group of activists who bombed 3 abortion clinics in 1984, and a jury deliberated 3 hours before finding Griffin guilty on March 4th, 1994. So this is one thing, if they're trying to prevent anti-abortions, but isn't murder what they're doing the same thing? I would believe so. So yeah, the murder was one of the motivating factors in passing the 1994 of the Federal Freedom of Access to Clinical Entrance Act. From March 1993 to May 2009, Gunn was the first of a total of 4 doctors murdered. I won't get to another one. I'm not going to cover all 4, but we'll talk about another one too. The total of 4 murders by anti-abortion extremists. Other killers were doctors Barnett Sleepin, John Britton, which I believe that's the guy we're going to be talking about, if I'm not mistaken, George Tiller. Gunn's murder also prompted Paul Jennings Hill to issue the defense action statement signed by 30 anti-abortion leaders, which stated their beliefs that the killing of doctors who provide abortions was justified. Murder again. Hill went on to murder physician John Britton and Britton's bodyguard in Yes, that's who we're going to be talking about. So, 1994 Gunn's murder inspired the first official single "Get Your Gun" by alternate Was it? I didn't even know that. I guess I didn't read this part. Which 1994 Guns Murder inspired the official single "Get Your Gun" by Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson explained in 1999 Rolling Stone's piece of on the Columbine High School massacre that to him, Guns Murder by pro-life activists was the ultimately hypocrisy that he had witnessed as a young child. So that's him. Which not too long after that was the murder of John Brighton, which we talked about then. And this was afterwards. The murder of David Gunn was the first one. Now this has happened at about the same at the same area. I think it was around the same clinic as well. But without further ado, let's talk about the murder of John Brighton. John Bernard Brighton with Wikipedia was an American physician. He was assassinated in Pensacola, Florida by anti-abortion extremist Paul Jennings Hill. Brighton's death was the second assassination of Pensacola abortion provided in under a year and a half. He had replaced David Gunn after the later 1993 murders by another anti-abortionist. So same place. He was born in Boston. Brighton graduated in 1949 from the University of Virginia School of Medicine. He then served in the U.S. Army station in Korea, Mainz, Frankfurt, Mainz, M-A-I-N-Z, and Frankfurt, Germany, and became a lieutenant. He also taught at a medical college of Georgia. He then became a family physician in Fernandina Beach, Florida, spending much of his time delivering babies. After Gunn's murder, Brighton began flying across the state of Pensacola. I was going to say Pennsylvania. That's where I'm going pretty soon. Weekly in order to perform abortions at the Pensacola Ladies Center. I guess I need to slow down. Because he had received harassments and death threats, this is crazy, he wore a homemade bulletproof vest and carried a .357 Magnum and enlisted, so he's going to work. Imagine going to work and need bodyguards, .357, and a vest. But yeah, Brighton was notably ambivalent about abortion. He viewed abortion as a last resort option, and would sometimes turn away women seeking it, tell them to think about the decision and come back in a week if they still wanted an abortion. However, he described anti-abortion protesters as fanatics. So on July 29, 1984, as Brighton arrived at the clinic, Brenda Hill approached and fired at him with a 12-gauge shotgun, hit him in the head, and killed him. Later stated that he aimed for Brighton's head because he suspected the doctor was wearing a bulletproof vest. Hill also killed Brighton's bodyguard, a retired Army Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, so he's pretty high rank, James Herman Barrett Jr., and wounded Barrett's wife, June, a retired nurse. The murder resulted in several members of Congress calling for the FBI to infiltrate, infiltrate anti-abortion groups as it has been with the Ku Klux Klan like the other guy was. So this guy, he didn't get off as easy as the other guy did. He was sentenced to death on December 6, 1994 and was executed by lethal injection on September 3, 2003. He was the first person in the United States to be executed for murdering a doctor who performed abortions. In a piece several months earlier in GQ, Tom Junod, Junod, had profiled a number of parties involved in the murders, not only Brighton but also Hill and the Barretts. Brighton and Hill are also interviewed by Tony Kaye's documentary Lake of Fire. But before we go, after he got executed, let's talk about, I know a lot of people like last meals and stuff like that. So what was his last meal? I mean, he actually had a pretty decent last meal. He had steak, doesn't say what steak. This is from Murderpedia. Steak, baked potatoes, broccoli, salad, orange sherbet, sweet tea. I would have went with the unsweet tea, but that's fine. I mean, a pretty good solid last meal. I would take that. I mean, it's probably, I know Texas, if you ask for steak, they give you chopped steak. What was his last words? His final words was, the last thing I want to say, if you believe abortion is a lethal force, you should oppose the force and do what you have to do to stop it. May God help you to protect the unborn as you want to be protected. And so I don't know. The movie. Let's talk about the movie. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a 94% score based on 54 reviews and an average rating of 7.8 to 10. 7.8 tenths. The site critically consensus leads Lake of Fire engaged in interviews with it's pretty much back powerful black and white visuals make a riveting and honest documentary about the controversy about abortions and stuff like that. So, the film appeared on several critics' top 10 lists and best films in 2007. So, I mean, it seems like it's not too bad of a documentary about the abortions. And it's higher. I don't know if that's good. I'm not familiar, but the movie's called Lake of Fire. I might want to watch that later on. So, where is now the other guy who killed? Let me get his name up here. I'm going through my Griffin. Where is he at? This is where I was trying to find where he is at. He is Michael Frederick Griffin, who was convicted of 25 years in life prison for the 1993 murder of David Gunn. He is also in prison. I'm going to talk about two other people that he's sharing cells with. I doubt he's sharing a cell with them, but they're all in the same prison. Nicholas Lindsay, murder of a police officer, and Terry Rowell, serving a life sentence for rape with a weapon in 1990. In 2019, he was sentenced to an additional 30 years after breaking the leg of a prison counselor. So Nicholas, let's see what Nicholas was in jail for. I'm going to give you a quick overview of that. But yeah, Nicholas Lindsay, a Florida man convicted of murder in the first degree of a law enforcement officer from the St. Petersburg Police Department. So according to records, Lindsay has a prior record for nonviolent crimes such as grand theft and trespassing. Although he attended high school, on the day of the shooting, he had missed 40 days during the school year. Gibbs High School former principal Kevin Gordon spoke with Lindsay about cutting class. The principal and his reading invitations teacher said a teenager suspect. I'm gonna restart it again. Reading intervention teacher said that the teenager suspect always complied with authority. So, unlike this day, unlike February 21st, 2011, where Officer David Crawford, 46, was responding to a call of a suspicious person near Tropicana Field that night. The caller stated that a man was holding a brick in his hand in the backyard and had jumped the fence. So he was in the guy's backyard with a brick in his hand. The caller thought he might be a burglar. Officer Crawford arrived at the area and spotted the person, then got out of his vehicle. At 10:37 p.m., Donald J. Ziegler, a fellow officer, noticed and reported exchange of gunfire. Ziegler found Crawford lying near his cruiser. Police stated he was shot multiple times at close range after reaching for a notepad. More than 200 officers from different agencies across Tampa Bay poured into the city to take part in the massive manhunt for the suspect. But they found him. So, now the other guy, Terry, is a deaf. Now the news. This is where the one I got from newspaper.com. A deaf ex-convict accused of beating and raping a 70-year-old Wauchula woman remained in the Hardee County Jail without bond. Thursday, city police said. Therese Terry Rawls, R-A-W-L, 24 of the Wauchula Garden Apartments, number 53, is charged with burglarizing occupied home, aggravated battery, and sexual battery. The charges were from a Tuesday morning attack. So he is in jail for that. Later on, he'll get an altercation with a prison guard and break her leg. Well, there you go. I'm going to stop right there because I think I need to get some more practice on reading these things because I probably muff-mouthed a lot of... I'm stealing that from Dan Cummins, I guess. Mush mouth. But he hasn't said it in a while, so there you go. But thank you. If you're still around and you like what you heard, please rate and review on iTunes or anywhere you go. I'm going to try to get back on this on a regular basis. I've been out for a while. Like I said, my scheduling is just really hard to get anything done. My last company, I'll have a day off every week. But I'm going to try to do this. Also, this is the solved one. I do have another podcast called Missing Miles, which is more unsolved and missing people. I'm gonna start doing that, and I still have my Trucker Cats, with my cats right next to me right now. Is a TikTok channel. On TikTok, I do Trucker Cats and sceneries and cemeteries. And to come, I'll rate and review all the places I've been to, customers, stuff like that. It's called zero. There is terrible 0 stars if I could. I'll start trying to put in the show notes all the links. Also, if you want to email me, it's truckstopmurder@gmail.com, or you could join my Facebook group at truckstopmurder.com and Patreon, which I'm going to start doing some of that now because I do have a few Patrons. I need to figure out how to use Patreon. I have 3 of them. I have the Torreses, and I have someone else I can't. I need to find her name, which I feel so horrible that I want to thank her for it. But I'm going to start putting those are going to be more like overseas cases and different things like coal mine fires or like the Titanic and stuff like that. I'm going to do, which is not murder, but it's just interesting things I find while I'm on the road. So, if you're traveling the road and you see Prime Truck 634009, honk your horn, wave high. I would appreciate it. And keep in mind, you can't fix stupid, but you can sure numb it with a 2x4. I'm out of here.
Huh?